Hey there, welcome to the Camden Famous podcast. I'm your host, April Shaw-Beaudoin. Whether you're a local, a seasonal visitor, or just curious about Mid-Coast Maine, you're in the right spot. We dive into the stories behind the must-visit places, from cozy eateries and unique shops to can't-miss attractions. For more insights and to join our community, check out our website at camdenfamous.com or follow us on Instagram at camdenfamous. Let's explore the best of Mid-Coast Maine together. The Camden Famous podcast is brought to you by The Wharf at Lyman Morse. The Wharf is a beautiful waterfront destination on the sunny side of Camden Harbor. The Wharf at Lyman Morse offers a one-of-a-kind dining, shopping, and lodging experience. Plus, don't miss the sunset over Camden Harbor from the Salt Wharf, their rooftop restaurant and bar. Visit thewharfcamden.com. That's the WHARF Camden.com to start your adventure today. Colin Page of Page Gallery is here with us today. Discover how his art and community projects like the Camden Art Walk and Plein Air Festival enrich Camden and support the local library. Welcome to the show, Colin.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, I'm so excited to dig in with you. Before you got here this morning, I was looking at your website, thepagegallery.com, and I was learning a little bit more about you. And I wasn't sure if you were a Mid-Coast Maine native or if you were a transplant. And
I am a transplant, yes.
Yeah.
I grew up in Baltimore, and in Baltimore, I went to a high school for the arts down there, which was a great start to studying painting. And then I went to Rhode Island School of Design for 2 years and transferred to Cooper Union in New York City. And so after a couple years living in New York and scraping by, a friend lived in Maine. So I kind of came here on a whim just for fun. And it was, I think, 21 years ago.
wow.
Yeah.
And immediately fell in love?
Yeah, I moved here in November. I hadn't really even been here much. I didn't know how nice a Maine summer was when I moved here. But yeah, I mean, as a landscape painter, it's a great place to paint. I didn't realize when I moved here how deep the landscape painting tradition was around here. So that was really inspiring. And also, everyone I met here was creative in some way. Where when I'd been living in Brooklyn, there were a lot of artists, but up here it felt like everybody was doing something with their hands and like really interested in making things, whether it was, people working on the boats doing knitting and people making crafts, or just so many people who were also fine artists. So it really felt like a easy place to connect with other people more than anything else. And then summer came. I was like, whoa, this is great.
Yeah, the summers. I read something recently in a Maine-based book that was like, if you can't take the winters, you don't deserve the summers.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's totally a Maine attitude toward all the visitors that we have coming here. So did you settle in Mid-Coast Maine right when you moved here?
I moved to Georgetown, just south of Bath, for the first 6 months, and then ended up moving to Camden after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been here a long time.
Yeah.
And you have a couple of kids.
Yes, a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, 2 girls. Yeah.
And how long have you had Page Gallery open?
We opened it 5 years ago.
5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Before that, I showed in a couple galleries in Camden and Rockland and kind of all over the place, around the country in a lot of different locations. And I wanted to sort of like focus more and be closer to home, not have to travel so much to do painting in other parts of the country. And was just trying to figure out sort of like I wanted to figure out how to show my work in ways that like would be complemented by the other artists we have. So like I have the woman I opened the gallery with, Kirsten Serby. We have pretty similar interest in art. So we wanted to have photography, sculpture, minimalist painting, more abstract painting, more realistic painting, sort of a really wide range of approaches of all just like really people who are doing beautiful work in whatever their interest was. And I found that was kind of an ideal place for also my paintings to fit in, to be able to not just be with a lot of other impressionist landscape paintings, but to be mixed in with a wide range of approaches.
And your gallery is just, you can't help but be in a happy mood as soon as you walk in there. I was in there a few weeks ago for the children's show, and it was just the cheeriest spot in Camden.
Well, we tried it. That was one of the things we wanted. We wanted the gallery to feel really welcoming. a lot of people are intimidated by the art world, which is funny because it should be something that everyone feels like they can come in and experience at whatever their knowledge base is. So we really want everyone to come in, whether they're planning to buy something or not, like just feel welcome to walk around and look at the art. So we try to have have a friendly face when they come in and have the gallery feel like a friendly face overall.
Yeah. And you do workshops.
I stopped doing the workshops partly because I opened the gallery.
Yeah.
This is with 2 kids and the gallery, and still being a painter myself, time was starting to become a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
So I used to teach. That was one of the things I used to travel a lot to teach as part of showing in these other parts of the country. And so I taught in Charleston, South Carolina pretty regularly, where I still show at a gallery down there, England Smith, which is really fun to have a connection to another landscape. But around here, I stopped teaching. I still get asked sometimes but if I'll teach a class, but it's just, I felt like to be good at teaching the classes, I had to give all of my emotional energy to it for when the class was happening, and it was just exhausting.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I know that you've been on the board for the library for the past year, which I think has been pretty consuming. Hearing from other board members.
Right. Yeah.
And you, this last summer, and something you're going to continue this summer, is a fundraiser for the library.
Yes, the Camden on Canvas event. So I've been on, I think this will be our 4th year doing Camden on Canvas, which is great. And it's a plein air event where we have 20 painters from around New England painting in Camden for the weekend. And it's July 19th, 20th, and 21st. So Friday through Sunday morning, they're painting all over town. And it's really fun because you can just walk around town and stumble onto people with easels in the middle of their painting process. And then Sunday afternoon, each artist drops off one completed brand new wet painting. And it's on display in the library amphitheater for the day for kind of public viewing. And then at the end of the day, we have an auction of those paintings. And it's been a really big fundraiser for the library. I think I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's been around $50,000 each year that the library's raised at the event. So we're hoping it'll keep building because it's become like a big source for their budget.
Yeah. And it's so cool for the community to be able to go around and see you all in action and then walk over to the amphitheater and see all the art on display. It's a win-win-win for everybody.
Yeah, it's fun. We have we have some new artists coming in this year too, and so like the gallery, it's nice having some different, like they're all going to be doing the landscape on location, but it's not all the same style. So I think it's going to be a really exciting year this year with some of the new paintings coming in.
I'm looking forward to it. One of the other things that I hear about Colin Page when I'm walking around town and I'm talking to people for Camden Famous is just how much you've brought to the community with your fresh ideas. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that you have kind of pioneered in Camden is the third Thursday of the month from May to November.
May through October. May through October. The third Thursday of each month we have an art walk, which it started originally with just all the galleries and some of the shops being open. And we have the First National Bank in Camden as a sponsor for it. So the first year they were doing that, we bought banners that we were going to put up all around town. And when I asked the town select board for permission to hang the banners on the light posts, one of the select board members, Allison McKellar, spoke up and said, well, why don't you close the street down and make it a whole block party? And I thought, well, I'm not really looking to take on that much. But then COVID hit, and it turned out we didn't actually want the gallery mobbed with like 200 people stuck inside. So it made a lot more sense to make it an outdoor event. So now it's a great event because the street does close. We have live music, a food truck. Miss Amy from the library, the children's librarian, comes down with a craft project every time. We have a huge box of sidewalk chalk that we put out. So it's become really like a family art event, not just sipping wine in a gallery, but really just kids and families all over the street. And we shut down Bayview Street from the corner of Route 1 down to the PG Willie parking lot, which is a nice long block. And it's the kids love just having the whole block to themselves.
Yeah. It's like a mini festival. I went a couple of times last year, and there's a big bubble maker. So you see like a million bubbles, and they're heading out over the harbor, and the kids are drawing on the street with chalk. And it's just you feel like Camden is a magical place, and that kind of event really just makes people feel so part of the community.
Yeah. I think that's one of the surprises for me when we did open the gallery. It didn't occur to me that you really are part of a different, it's like you have your neighborhood at home, and then being in town, it feels like you are part of a community downtown also. And there are a lot of things that you end up having the neighboring business who you're working with. And it's fun having the gallery as an opportunity to really give back to the community in some ways, which it didn't occur to me weirdly. Like, you just think opening a business is about trying to make profit, but it really is more than that. And that's been a real treat.
That is one of the questions that I have been asking all of our podcast guests is, what do you love about being in business in Mid-Coast Maine and in Camden in particular?
Well, when we were choosing where to open a gallery, we did think about the neighboring towns, and Camden it's where I live, but it also is. It feels like it's the place I first moved when I came here. It feels like a really rich and interested community. As a art gallery, this area feels kind of unique for how many people really care about art. It feels like this area, there are a lot of people who watch what we do. They see when we put new paintings in the windows. They come out to see our new shows. I love that the community cares that much. I like that this area has a lot of kind of wonderful history. Like, even at the Farnsworth Museum, there's a painting of Camden Harbor that's on the walls a lot of the time from, I don't know, 120 years ago. And so it's fun to feel like you're a part of a longer term project in this town.
Yeah, it's a living history.
Yeah, right.
And you're memorializing the town in some ways, and
yeah.
So that's really cool. One of the really neat things about Camden too is the way that so many businesses work together, and there's a real collaborative spirit. There's an artisan spirit here in Camden, and then there's a collaborative spirit. So how have you been able to collaborate with some of the other businesses locally?
Well, the Art Walk has been one nice way to do it. Walking around and getting to know all the local, walking up and down the street, talking to them about what we're planning to do each summer, and talking about if they want to stay open, how they can be involved in that. And a lot of the neighbors, some of the neighbors downtown in the businesses are also neighbors in
real
my
life?
neighborhood. Yeah. So Jessie Tobias lives the next block over from me,
okay.
and has a shop across the street.
Yeah.
And she opened up, I think 2 summers ago. And when she was opening, I think it was her opening day, she was having a reception that night, and she realized she didn't have any art on her walls. So she came over and said, would you be willing to loan us a painting? And it's been a really nice setup, because I think we have 3 paintings usually on the walls at Jessie's, and she actually does a great job of selling them for us. And it's they're the Lord Camden Inn has one of my paintings over their check-in desk, and Norumbega has a painting. They actually have 2 paintings of mine up there, and then the new Rockport Hotel that just opened, they also put a painting up, and it's a fun way to. I like when, especially with Norumbega, they just did a huge remodel, and they were trying to get art in, and they were talking about buying something, and we offered, they did purchase a painting, but we also said, this looks good here. We'd love to loan it to you and just have this on the wall here for you. And and they then send, a lot of their clients come in seeing the painting, and they say, well, it's down at Page Gallery, you should go see more of his work. And it's really fun. It feels like everyone's building each other up in a really nice way.
That's something I've definitely seen over the past year working in Camden Famous, that you can't go in and give someone a compliment at the store without them saying, oh, well, you should also see X, Y, and Z.
Right. Yeah. It's so nice.
That's so neat.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a competitive spirit, and I lived in Seacoast, New Hampshire for a long time, and that was more my experience. And here it's still kind of like I'm stepping into an alternate reality, because it is really distinct. It's really neat about this area.
Yeah.
And Will and Brett are actually coming on the podcast tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So I'll ask them about their
ask about their art
piece.
collection. Yeah. They actually, one of the paintings, the painting that they bought was of one of my daughters swimming in lily pads, and it's right over the mantle in their main room. And it was so fun to see them choose it, because we brought over several paintings to try out, And there were like very traditional, typical landscapes of the coast of Maine, and then this painting of Audrey swimming in the pond. And I thought that's like the
That's the
painting,
one.
but they're probably gonna want it's for a hotel. You'd think they'd want the more typical Maine coast scene, and they wanted the quirkier. I love like the kind of the ethic or the aesthetic they've created there is quirky and in a beautiful way. So I felt like a brave choice, which I admired. It was good.
Yeah, it is truly amazing. Anyone who's listening right now and who hasn't been to the Norumbega, they do small plates and drinks, I think from 4 to 7. You might need a reservation, so you can call them, but it is definitely not a spot you want to miss if you're on vacation in Camden.
Yeah, it's great.
Can you tell our listeners about any other events that might be coming up this summer, or do you have any artists that they're going to be featured in the gallery, or a type of art? So if someone is thinking about, where do I go in Camden? I'm looking to make a purchase. I want to see something beautiful.
Yeah. So we have this summer we have every month a different group show. Each of for each of the Art Walk months. So from May through October, we'll have 3 artists featured each month. Our first show is Gideon Bach, who's a local painter who grew up here and seems to be everybody. It's Gideon Bach, Susan Lichtman, and Terry Powers, and they're all really they're really interesting painters. They're like kind of painters. Like I think pretty much any artist in the area is gonna love seeing that show, and I believe the next show is my paintings with Hannah Berta and Sophie Cangelosi. And Sophie's new for us this year. She's a new artist to the gallery who has like really beautiful, colorful. Like I'm a fairly colorful painter, and her paintings make mine look dull. They're so fun and exciting. And Hannah Berta is another local who grew up here, whose mom is my daughter's math teacher in the middle school.
Oh.
And it seems like people just walk in all day long like, oh, I know Hannah. And she does these really intricate cut paper pieces where it's like these like flowers and grasses and like sort of pieces of nature drawn onto a piece of paper and cut out, and then it's floated 3-dimensionally off of the surface behind it. So they have these beautiful shadows get cast. So I think that's gonna be a really fun show.
I think Lisa was telling me at your gallery when we visited a couple weeks ago about it. Was she doing any sort of workshop, or she?
Oh, she might have been. Yeah. We have a couple. We do have some classes at the gallery too. Hannah, she does work with people with other, doing some teaching sometimes. But we have Peggy Kroll Roberts is doing a collage workshop. That might have been the one that was mentioned. And then Annalise Scar is another one of our artists who is doing paper flowers, like cut paper flowers. And actually, she has a workshop this weekend. And for the next 3 weeks she's doing them, and we try to do a lot of interactive things. So we also have one of our neighbors and friends who comes in a lot does Ukrainian dyed eggs, where you do these like sort of melted wax resists and then multiple dyes. They're really beautiful, and so she's doing that in the gallery also. It's kind of fun. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, as we get closer to wrapping up, one of the questions I never like to leave unanswered is for the business owner who's here to share about what their favorite customer would say they're famous for. Sometimes it can be a difficult question to say, what am I famous for? But if you think about the like recurring things that get said to you when people come visit your gallery or when they see your work.
Yeah. That is a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Compliment myself. I think in terms of my paintings, I think it's that the paintings are colorful and happy. And for the gallery, there are two things. Partly we had our youth art show for the month of February that we're coming out of, and so we get a lot of people for the last month have just been coming in and thanking us for the things we do for the community. Things like doing this youth art show that is really, there's no judging, no prices. Like any child who makes a piece of work that's within the themes of our show, we put it on the walls. So I think that's the thing I'm always happiest to hear people kind of take home from a visit to the gallery, that we're community minded. So that, yeah.
when I was in a couple of weeks ago, looking at the children's gallery on the wall, everyone had kind of like a postcard sized little painting they did. And one really stuck out to me, and I had to go closer to see what it was. And it was a pie chart. And I think it was a girl had put a little note next to it, this much of my brain is Taylor Swift. It was like 75% of her brain in her pie chart was pink.
That's hilarious. That's amazing.
It's my favorite part of it.
Yeah. We had a couple Taylor Swift cards. I think one was snuck up by my daughter. She just wanted to just write Taylor Swift. I was like, no, you have to draw something. So she colored in around it. Yeah. But it was we had, I don't know how many postcards we gave away, but we give a lot of postcards and panels away to the local schools, and anyone who comes into the gallery is welcome to pick up supplies for a child. But we try to encourage participation as much as possible, and from Appleton, Lincolnville, Hope, Camden, Rockport, all these local schools get supplies to their art teachers. And so a lot of them do projects in the class for the show and then return us these bulk packages of postcards and panels, which is, it's so great.
Yeah.
Is it really I love that the teachers know that we can put this on the wall and the kids can be featured, which is, some of the kids get really excited and bring their families in to show them.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. My son has no artistic ability at all, so he probably would have done something like that pie chart with F1 racing.
Right, yeah.
But even the kids, they don't have that skill. They get to be part of something bigger than them, and they do get to come in and see their work, and that's just so special.
Yeah.
Well, for our listeners, how can they find you online if they want to go look you up after listening to this podcast?
The easiest place is at thepagegallery.com. And on Instagram, I am at cpageart, and the gallery is at Page Gallery.
Great. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for listening. To learn even more about what makes Mid-Coast Maine so special, visit our website at camdenfamous.com. or head over to Instagram where you can find us at Camden Famous.